Take after take, we're back for yet another episode here on the ones and twos. Before we even get started, producer Pat, as always, yours truly, Carl Prather. He's pissed off because it is on a Wednesday. What is this? 6 o'clock on the nose.
You said we'd record at 5:30.
I did. And work happened. I was at some high schools. I'm cross for the kids, dog. Cross for the kids.
Work didn't happen, though. You were already there when you texted me you were going to be here at 5:30. It's not like it popped up.
No, I went to two high schools. They were close for proximity. I went to two high schools, high school football previews, our high school football season, 48 Blitz, that gets underway a week from today, as you're hearing this recording on a Friday, as we're recording this on a Thursday. Long story short story long, he's pissed off and he's mad because he set up all of our elaborate video stuff, but that's okay. I'm going to grab some confetti and stuff here next week when we do it. So then, we're going to have a big celebration because he's mad. He's really not really mad about the construction of said set and said apparatuses that are around here. He's just really hungry. He wanted to go home.
Yeah.
He's got an hour drive. I get it. His lovely wife.
Hour 15.
Hour 15. Heaven forbid I lose 15 minutes. But he's pissed off and he's mad because he had to set all this stuff up and we're just doing audio instead of doing the visual. And I told him, I said, hey, we can do the visual in 30 minutes. He was like, no, dog, I'm trying to go home. I'm over it.
Yeah, because we're going to go for an hour.
That's
we can't stay on track, and then I'm leaving here at 8, and I'm getting home at 9:30.
Then you got to see my face again tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
We got a new sports girl by the name of Kaylee Tinklestad. She's in here. She's laughing at us because we're idiots.
Good first impression, by the way.
Bro, I mean, hey, man,
late.
Look, welcome. Welcome, Kaylee, because that's the story of my life. So we are legitimately just days away from week 0 of the college football season. High school gets underway on August 22nd, but we'll have a handful of college football games on August 23rd. We have the opportunity to hear from none other than I just call this guy the college football Bible preseason magazine guy, and that is Phil Steele. Phil is amazing. I've had an opportunity to interview him countless times for the preseason. Patrick had the opportunity to hear the recording that we did earlier this week. That dude is so knowledgeable, but you have to be knowledgeable when you've been in business for well over 20 plus years. That dude has 12 TVs he watches at one time. Isn't that crazy? I would like to have that.
You're close. Don't act like, you got 3?
We're not counting here.
You're
don't do
you're
that.
Close.
Don't do that. Why are you pulling the curtain back, dog? Don't do that.
Well, one, you made me wait. So this is a vendetta. We got all this beautiful camera equipment. Nobody can see us.
That's okay.
I even got dressed up for the occasion. Nice hat on. Nice shirt. Just in the void.
You got these sorry Braves on your head. I'm a Braves fan too, so we all in the same pot together. But bro,
I mean, it ain't good for us.
It ain't good. I'm surprised you don't have your.
I bet Phil Steele doesn't watch the Braves on one of those 12 TVs.
He don't need to watch that. He don't need to watch that. You go, man. All I have is 3 TVs, dude. That's it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's not a lot.
In the same spot, you don't have 3 in the one house. You have 3 in one spot.
Yes. Gone are the days of yesteryear where you're just gonna sit and watch one game at a time. If you put your main game, big game on one TV, put your side game so you can kind of just keep an eye on another TV. I really need one more, and then I'm really straight. I don't know if I need to put it above the top TV or below the most bottom TV, but I'm thinking about getting one more. I don't know if that'll go well with old Lindsay P. I don't think that'll fly, but it's like B-dubs in my house, man. Especially on my side.
It's like B-dubs.
Yeah, B-dubs. Boy, hit a button.
Yep.
We up in there. That Buffalo come in my house. Just don't be alarmed for our fantasy football draft. We have a fantasy football draft on August 23rd as well, and he always thinks he's going to win it every year. He has won it. I've never won it. So there's that.
First of all, don't put me down. I'm pretty good at fantasy football. I'm also bringing smelling salts this year for the draft.
He did say that. Yes, and they've been banned by the NFL, but you're deciding to bring smelling salts for us too.
Well, they've been banned as in the NFL can't provide them, but players can still use them. Because it was a big uproar.
What's the purpose of these smelling salts for the other competitors here? For what? Wedding giggles?
Yeah. I think just to have fun, But you have to do something to have a little bit of fun.
What pick do you have?
7th.
I got 5th.
Which means I came in 4th last year. So again, pretty good.
I always make the playoffs. I just never cashed in. I made the championship game, and it took a historic effort from Alvin Kamara and 6 touchdowns in a game for me to lose a championship.
Christmas miracle.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Wasn't happy with that. We have talked about everything but the main thing.
Give me your take on Ty Simpson being the starting quarterback real quick. I mean, we all knew this was going to happen, right?
Yeah, I'm cool. Listen, I like all three of them from all indications relative to those who've been watching scrimmages and practices over the last few weeks. He's been the cleanest, but really the whole room has been clean. I heard Greg McElroy discuss it on his show earlier this week that when he went to the scrimmage on Saturday, everyone was excellent. Ty made an errant play somewhere earlier in that scrimmage, but actually made a play to win the scrimmage on that side ultimately. Ryan Grubb had an opportunity to hear from him earlier this week as well. Grubb said that the quarterback room as a whole only threw 4 interceptions. I will take that. Relative to that other side of the football, we always hear the defense is ahead of the offense. But yeah, I mean, I think it was, Ty was a presumptive favorite to be the starter there. I'm pretty sure Austin Mack's going to be 2. You redshirt Keelan, and then see if you can get him in some spot duty there with some of your lesser opponents. Because as you know, in the world of redshirts now, you can play 4 games and still have the ability to keep your red shirt. But yeah, just learn and stuff. I mean, the live is on now. I think of all of them, I think Ty's the most accurate. Austin has the biggest arm, and Keelan has like the most powerful arm, if that makes any sense. Ball jumps off his football. Everything kind of is like a fastball. He's got to learn how to take something off of that. But no, I don't think anything has changed. I think everything's kind of went according to schedule there. The closer I get to August 30th, I do get a little concerned that this college football game against Florida State is going to get a little hairy. The closer I get to it, if I'm Kalen DeBoer and his staff, expect all and anything, fake punts, going for it on 4th down, the aggressive nature because if you're Mike Norvell in his program, you're coming off of a 2-10 year. You have a new offensive coordinator, Gus Malzahn. Thomas Castellanos is there, who I've loved since he's been a college football quarterback. We just want to know if it's going to be good Thomas or bad Thomas. Good Thomas can win you 10 games. Bad Thomas gets you 5 and 7, and the seat is even that much more hotter.
And
right?
you get fired.
And you're presumably probably going to get fired.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of people, including Phil Steele, believe they're going to be one of his biggest surprises, bounce back teams. I think Vegas has it like over 6.5, 7.5. People are taking that. But let's just be real. We don't know. I'm just going by like some of the pieces that they have, and Gus Malzahn running that offense to make me believe that they may have an opportunity or a chance to make some noise. But yeah, I'm highly concerned about game 1 and Alabama losing that game. Anyone in their right mind that doesn't believe that the Crimson Tide of Alabama cannot lose that game, they're insane. If anyone in their right mind doesn't believe that Auburn, August 29th, a week from this Friday, can lose in Waco, they're absolutely out of their minds. You also don't have to be out of your minds if they both blow out both of those teams.
I'm about to say, I'll take Alabama by whatever.
You've said this
touchdowns.
forever. And I feel, and listen, I think the game is going to be incredibly tight for Auburn. I think Auburn obviously has the tougher opponent because we just know more about Baylor, if that makes any sense. And it's on the road. We know Baylor, ironically enough, in the other receiving votes pot of the AP poll or the coaches poll, Baylor was 31, Auburn was 32. So they're not that far off, and that tells you that, the 2 coaches and the other SIDs that voted for made the votes for the coaches poll. That tells you that they know that these 2 teams could make a nice run, and before you know it, being inside the top 10. I think all but the last 20 years, I think all but 2 years that an unranked team finishes inside the top 10. So now people are saying maybe Baylor is going to be that team. Maybe Auburn could be that team as well. I just think it just boils down. We've said this is Jackson Arnold. Like, let's just be real. Kaylee is an OU grad. She loves the Sooners. I just want to see what happens early on in the game. He throws a pick or pick 6. How do you recover from that? I think it's between the years for Jackson. And you want to try to do everything possible to kind of make him as comfortable as possible, but he's still going to have to make plays. That team, that roster is just loaded. We can dance around this all we want. However you feel about Auburn, whatever your allegiance may be, they have one of the 4 or 5 like highest grossing like salary rosters in college football. They should be good. They should be winning 9+ games. So this is the type of game that your talent shows out and some players make some plays. And Eric Singleton Jr., a Cam Coleman. Those are the type of games that you pay those guys for to be in your program to make a run. So you think that Florida State's going to get curb stomped? I do not. If I were a betting man, I would take the points for Florida State. But we'll see. That's why we're going to find out and play the game for sure. I like Auburn in the Baylor game as well. We'll dive more into picks as we head into 2 weeks from now as well. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm trying to think of, the AP poll wasn't much different from the coaches poll, although they did move Ohio State below. I believe Clemson was the third team, I believe. I think Ohio State was a little bit further down. We had the discussion that I don't know why we have Ohio State in the top 5 right now, outside of prestige and prestige alone. So, man, we're close to the talking is almost over. And in the coming weeks, everyone will have more guests as the college football season moves on. Hopefully, they'll be able to pick up a couple of more before we get to week 1. I know we technically have a week 0 with a handful of games, but let's be real. Everyone's waiting for August 30th. Amazing slate of games for college football fans. In the interim, you're going to have the opportunity to hear from one Phil Steele, the Phil Steele College Football Preseason Magazine publication. We had a really good talk, discuss his top 5 power poll, most surprising teams outside the top 25 that could potentially make a run toward a college football playoff and national championship as well. So without further ado, the one and only Phil Steele. Well, Phil, truly appreciate you taking some time with us today and discussing the start of the college football season. Your magazine is what many consider kind of the go-to during the preseason and the summer. We all look forward to it. I did want to start with asking kind of with so many of our area teams and fans of Alabama and Auburn and, of course, throughout the SEC, your power rankings and kind of a go-to the first couple of pages of the magazine. Walk us through kind of your top 5, and then we'll kind of touch base there with maybe some sleeper picks and some most improved teams that you traditionally do.
All right, sounds great, Carl. Let's start out at number 5, and my number 5 team right now is Ohio State. And Ohio State, the defending national champ, lost a lot of talent from last year, but has plenty of talent returning. They could very well be favored in all 12 games this year, including the opener against Texas. They also host Penn State. They're not quite as good as last year's team, not as experienced, but I got them at number 5. Number 4, I got Texas. And with Texas, Arch Manning's there. They got my number 1 defense in the country. They got that big game against Ohio State to open up the season. Picked to win the SEC by the media, and I think Texas may be the most talented team in the SEC this year. Number 3, I've got Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman did a great job getting this team to the national title game last year. They probably would have been better against Ohio State had they not lost their top defensive lineman, top offensive lineman. They had running back Love banged up heading into the game. But this is a Notre Dame team. As long as they get good quarterback play out of C.J. Carr, I think they'll be one of the main contenders. Number 2, I got Clemson. And with Clemson, Cade Klubnik is back. Clemson may have the most potent offense in the country. Klubnik's thrown to my number 2 set of receivers, number 2 offensive line. Last year, he had 36 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions. Defensively, last year, they gave up 374 yards per game, which is unusual for Clemson. But they bring in Tom Allen as defense coordinator. They've got a ton of NFL talent on the defensive side of the ball. I have Clemson favored in all 12 games this year. I've got them at number 2. But, Carl, for the first time in the 31 years of the magazine, I'm picking Penn State number 1. And Penn State really has it all. They have an experienced team. They have a homegrown team. In other words, it's not a portal-heavy team. These guys were recruited by Penn State. They're still there. Only 5 players were lost to the NFL draft. A lot of guys that could have gone to the NFL opted to return, like Denai Denton, Sutton, and Zane Durant up front on the defensive line. Drew Aller at quarterback, Singleton and Allen at running back. They have my number 1 set of running backs, number 1 offensive line, a veteran quarterback in Drew Aller. And last year they got a couple of playoff wins. I think this is the year they break through. First time 31 years, I'm picking Penn State number 1.
I think a lot of fans in Happy Valley would be super excited for that. I wanted to touch base, piggyback off of Penn State. Phil, is it one of those things once you decided to, continue your publication and preview in Penn State, it's just the least amount of question marks heading into the season?
Yeah, they definitely do. And really the one area you were concerned with, if you're a Penn State fan, would be the receiving core, but they addressed that through the portal. They brought in Kyron Hudson from USC, Trevor Pena from Syracuse, Devontae Ross from Troy. They've really upgraded the wide receiver position to go with what is a complete team.
You also do a fantastic job with your most improved teams, almost a go-to early on with sleepers and teams that can make a significant improvement in the win column. Walk us through just some of your teams and maybe your top 5 there for most improved and your most improved team heading into the 2025-26 season.
Yeah, let's pick a couple of most improved teams this year. Number one, I'm going to pick is my number 2 most improved team, Utah. And when you look at Utah last year, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Remember, they had the Cam Rising situation. Will he play? Won't he play? When he finally did play mid-season, he wasn't 100%. They ended up the year with a 5th-string quarterback starting the final 2 games. Nothing was wrong with the defense last year. The defense remained strong. They lost a lot of close games last year. This year, they had in Devin Dampier, a quarterback from New Mexico, who I thought did more with less. They also had in New Mexico's offensive coordinator, and I think they're going to be potent on offense. In fact, when I talked to Coach Whittingham, he told me that this is the best offensive line he's had in his 21 years at Utah. He's had some really good offensive lines. They get most of their toughest opponents at home. I've got Utah as a big-time improvement in the win-loss column. And another team, Florida State. Florida State, of course, last year dropped down to 2-10. Remarkable after coming off a 12-0 season. Norvell knows how to hit the transfer portal and use it. I think he did well this year. They had in Castellanos, a quarterback, which I think is going to be a perfect fit for the Gus Malzahn offense. They've got talent through the transfer portal, and after winning just 2 games last year, I could see them winning 8 or 9 games this year for a big improvement record-wise. Now, those are my most improved teams. Going to my surprise teams list, these are teams that nobody has in their preseason top 10 that I think could actually contend for a playoff spot. And my number 1 surprise team this year is Oklahoma. And when you look at Oklahoma, they've got an outstanding defense. R. Mason Thomas up front leads my number 1 rated defensive line. Last year, they held opponents to 87 yards per game below their season average, 6th best in the country, and the majority of the defense is back. Their problem last year was offense. They had 0 returning starters on the offensive line. They also had their top 5 receivers go down due to injury. Well, the receivers, they get back the injured guys. They've got some additions. I think they'll be much upgraded there. Same thing offensive line. They now have a veteran group, and veteran offensive line coach Bill Bedenbaugh is back. At running back, they had in Jade Knott from Cal, who was the top running back in the Pac-12 2 years ago, banged up last year. And then they had in John Mateer, a quarterback from Washington State, as well as Ben Arbuckle, Washington State's offensive coordinator. So now with a potent offense, an outstanding defense, Oklahoma is just 6-7 last year. I think they have a shot at making a playoff. And then my number 2 surprise team is Texas A&M. And the Aggies last year very nearly were in the SEC title game. All they had to do is beat Texas in the season final to get there. Mike Elko's got himself a top-notch defense, and he's calling the defensive signals this year. Offensive line last year, when I talked to Coach Elko, he said, Phil, I think we're middle of the pack in the SEC. This year, he said, Phil, we're top tier. We're a Joe Moore Award contender. That's enough for me. I think they've got a much improved offense. And you look at their schedule, they will be an underdog at Notre Dame, at LSU, and at Texas, but put one upset there, and they could very well find themselves in the playoff.
Of course, here in the Yellowhammer State, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers, very important in the state, to say the least. Phil, let's start with Auburn, and we all know that Hugh Freeze is on a little bit of a maybe potential warm seat there, potentially become hot with such a talented roster, a lot of resources put into that roster heading into this season. Monster game to start the year, August 29th on the road in Waco against Baylor. Walk us through Auburn, things that you like, things that you may still want to see come to fruition there on the field as they get ready for their upcoming season.
Yeah, and last year Auburn was one of the few teams that make my most improved list that didn't get to a bowl game after a losing season. But it wasn't because they weren't most improved. I mean, in 2023, they were minus 45 yards per game in SEC play. Last year, how about plus 62 yards per game? A drastic improvement. Their problem was turnovers. Now, this year they bring in Jackson Arnold, who wasn't overwhelming at Oklahoma last year, but as I mentioned, Oklahoma had 0 returning starters on the offensive line. We're down their top 5 receivers. Now Jackson Arnold has got my number 6 set of receivers to work with, number 12 offensive line. The defense looks solid. This is a talented Auburn team. Now, the schedule's not easy. You mentioned Baylor to open up. They also have to play Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Arkansas. Even that Vanderbilt game where it used to be a slam dunk, that turns into a questionable game on the road this year. They host Georgia, which is going to be a tough one. They host Alabama. But this is a team I think capable of playing with anybody on the field. And as long as they don't turn the ball over like last year, should be a much improved year, and that would help get Hugh Freeze off the hot seat.
Kalen DeBoer enters year 2 in Tuscaloosa. A lot of talent still there intact for the Crimson Tide. Reports indicating that Ty Simpson will become the starter for Game 1 on the road in Tallahassee as the Crimson Tide make their visit to Doak Campbell Stadium for the very first time in program history. Initial thoughts once formulating your publication in the magazine about Alabama, and more importantly, things that you really, really like that jump off the page for you as they prepare for their upcoming season.
Well, there's almost everything I like about Alabama. All their units rank in my top 10 in the country in the front of the magazine. That's how loaded they are. And, something else to like. Of course, last year you had Nick Saban. Now all of a sudden Kalen DeBoer comes in. I think there were some Saban guys, some DeBoer guys, maybe a little dissension. This year when the transfer portal opened, hardly anybody left. I think this team is completely bought in. That's a big difference over last year. And keep in mind, DeBoer is 15-3 against top 25 teams in his history. His second year at Washington, he took them all the way to the national title game, and he didn't have as much talent to work with. Ty Simpson's the only question mark you have, but I thought Simpson looked good in the Manning Passing Academy, has looked good this fall, and has won the job, and he's surrounded by talent, both sides of the football. They've got 17 seniors this year, which is double what they had last year. And when you look at the schedule, I only have an underdog in one game, and that's a slight underdog at Georgia. It's an Alabama team not only capable of contending for the SEC title, but I think they're capable of contending for the national title this year. Watch out for the Tide. I'm bullish on this team.
You mentioned the Georgia Bulldogs and that big matchup in Athens for the Crimson Tide later in the season. Maybe relative to other seasons with Kirby Smart, the Georgia Bulldogs, maybe if you can, with the talent that they have on their two deep and across their roster, flying under the radar. Your thoughts on the Georgia Bulldogs and their potential run toward another national championship?
Yeah, and I think they are under the radar. And if you look at the last year, for example, they had a tough schedule. They had to play their three toughest opponents, Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss, all on the road. They ended up losing two of those games, despite the fact they came into the season number one in the country. Now, they're not number one in the country, but they still have plenty of talent. I like Gunnar Stockton at the quarterback position. And the schedule is much better for Georgia. Their three toughest opponents are Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, but they get all three of them at home between the hedges, and they haven't lost a home game since 2019. So it's been 6 years since they lost a home game. I think when you look at Georgia, they have the talent and the schedule to actually be favored in every single game this year. I picked them atop the SEC standings because of the schedule. They get the three toughest teams at home, and I think they are under the radar.
Final question, we'll get you out of here on this. We mentioned a lot of very talented programs. Of course, Penn State, your favorite to win the national championship with a talented roster. Give me one team relative to your publication that was released earlier this summer that has an outside shot of maybe shocking kind of the college football world and coming out of nowhere, a la maybe an Indiana that reached the playoff a season ago that could potentially make a deep run in the college football playoff, or more importantly, maybe be able to get to the final game.
Yeah, I think both Oklahoma and Texas A&M, as I mentioned, surprise teams. I'll throw another one out for you, though, and that's Illinois. Now, Illinois last year finished 10-3 with an impressive win over South Carolina, but they weren't all that impressive during the course of the season. They had two really good games, the Michigan game and the South Carolina Bowl game. But other than that, sort of fortunate to get to 10-3. But this year, practically everybody's back, including Luke Altmaier. They've got Brett Bielema's orchestrated one of the top offensive lines this year. Defensively, they got Gabe Akis and Thompson up front. They've got Xavier Scott and Torrey Cox, a dynamic cornerback combo. And when you look at the schedule this year, they do have to play Indiana on the road, but they get Ohio State at home week 7. And last year they played the defending national champs Michigan at home week 7 and pulled the upset. Wouldn't surprise me if they pulled the upset there. And their only other game where they might be a dog is at Wisconsin. I think Illinois' got the talent and the schedule to contend for the Big Ten title and make a run in the playoffs if they get there.
Phil, as always, thanks so much for doing this. Been a pleasure. Truly enjoy your publication, much like millions across our area and across the country for sure. Best of wishes for the upcoming football season. Is going to be an exciting one.
It sure will, Carl. And you live right there in the heart of Bama, which it was football 365 days of the year. So I definitely love doing shows in Alabama.
Very good. Thank you so much, Phil. I just did that. I just did that again. I've done it twice because I just want Patrick to be annoyed. I just felt important, like we had to do a break or a cut, like I was a director or something. What's the name of that hat that they wear?
A beret?
That.
Yeah.
That.
You can't wear a beret.
Yeah, I can't wear that.
No, you can't.
Put my bangs right up in front of that right there.
Yeah. The one bang.
I told you I'm going to Turkey. I'm going to go to Turkey.
We've talked about that before. You're going to go.
Yep. You going to go with me?
I'm not going to
I
go.
need support. I need a support system there. Kaylee, you going? Yeah. See. What a good team.
You need money to go first. You need a benefactor.
Can we do a GoFundMe? Is that illegal? Want to. Is that illegal?
I mean, it's probably not ethical in your line of work.
Ethical. That's right. Ethical. But I'll just go on Airport Road or something.
Yeah.
Tin can.
Tin can. For hair.
Play a tune or two.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Phil Steele? He loves Texas. Really, really, really loves Penn State. He picked Penn State to win the national championship. You know how we feel about Penn State. If you could tell us that Drew Aller was not the quarterback, we would feel good. Drew is a solid college football quarterback. Can he win those type of games?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't.
I don't see
Penn State. It's just I just can't get there. I know,
but just the guy under center, I just don't know.
Well, it's just like whatever. Anytime they play a huge game, they just come up short. Just every year, it happens. No matter who's on the team. Abdul Carter's on the team, wreaking havoc. They just can't. They can't win the big one.
But even in the semifinal, Patrick, they did everything right.
Yeah.
And had a chance to win the game.
And still didn't win.
Drew.
Yeah.
That is a mental hurdle that he'll have to overcome. And it'll start when they host Oregon. I think, Oregon still has a crazy amount of talent. I'm so excited to watch the Corey Moore, one of the highly touted wide receivers into the league. He may be next coming into this year. Dante Moore as well. We know what that program is about. Aggressive, fast. Just an enormous amount of talented players. That game, I believe, is at Penn State. Like, Drew Aller, at some point, you have to be the reason, if needed, to win a game. It would behoove, you want to win the game, but it'd be great that you are a reason for a nice 3rd and 7, a couple of third chain movers, a couple of big throws to relieve maybe the stress level from Penn State fans. Because the longer this goes and the more wins you rack up and you start getting the playoff, everyone's, everybody's waiting with bated breath to see if he can kind of come through for the Nittany Lions. If we said this before the preseason, after the end of last season, if James Franklin and this group can win the Big Ten this year, in what foreseeable future do you believe that they're going to be able to win that? I don't see it.
Yeah, me neither. Give me Texas, though. I'm all in.
I'm all in for Texas as well. He did mention Kaylee's alma mater, OU. You know how high I've been on OU. Tell him why you think I'm high on OU.
Oh, it's any good-looking white kid with long hair at quarterback you're in love with.
Yeah.
It is a trend that you have. You got a type. It's all right. Everybody's got one.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think. Love incredible wide receivers, like dominant wide receivers, like Andre Johnson when I was growing up was like the guy for me in Miami. So that's why Jeremiah Smith, I love Jeremiah Smith so much because he reminds me so much of him. Love Ryan Williams and all the, but I need guys like that. Quarterbacks, long flowing locks, or absolute beast mode dogs on the outside the hashes.
Yeah.
Give me those.
If only Matt Stafford back in his day had the hair coming out of the helmet.
Saw Matt Stafford inside Neyland Stadium against Georgia. They got their brains beat in. Him, Noshawn Moreno, AJ Green. Yeah, that was a thing.
That was a loaded Georgia squad.
That was a very loaded Georgia squad.
Didn't win nothing.
They didn't win a thing. Like, subscribe. Patrick mad at me because this is going to be short because I got to go on TV in 6 minutes. I don't even have my clothes on.
Well, pause. You have clothes on.
I don't have my, that's what I meant to say. I don't have my
clothes on.
Shoot, that's why we went on. That's why we went on video because I ain't got no clothes on up in here. Yeah. 48, well, we acting different up in here. Like, subscribe. Apple iTunes, Spotify, WAFF.com, our 48 Sports Zone app.
We got a TikTok.
That thing is lit. We about to have that going crazy. We have the Instagram as well. Look, just subscribe, follow. He'll start putting this audio up and stuff. Probably the naked part for sure. And he's going to be mad that, we didn't have any video of this. But we will have video next week. We are going to get the ball rolling because we got to get ready for college football. High school football starts for us next week as well. For Patrick Akers, I'm Carl Prather and Kaylee Tinglestad.
Oh, that was close. You
almost butchered that up, didn't I? I had to slow it down. Side note, we had a coach that was trying to say it, and it took him 4 times to say it. But he got it right on the 5th time. And I salute him. We'll see y'all next week.